Imagine this, you're playing the biggest tournament of your life, tens of millions on the line, you are down to the final 9 players, and then they stop the tournament for 4 months. I know, it sounds ridiculous. What started as a Hail Mary to save failing TV ratings ended up flipping the entire World Series of Poker on its head, and for a while, it worked brilliantly. But behind all the hype was a storm brewing. Burnout, sponsorship drama, shady prep, and a final table that felt more like a chess match than a poker game. This is the wild story of the November 9, how it shook up poker, made some legends, and why it quietly vanished. 2 decades ago, Chris Moneymaker made a monumental impact on the poker industry by winning the WSOP main event. However, it is often overlooked that during that time, the majority of individuals were unaware of the Tennessee accountant's achievement until a few months later when ESPN started broadcasting their coverage of the main event in July. In the following years, the fascination with the WSOP main event led to an unprecedented surge in the popularity of poker. Each year, a growing number of mainstream platforms began covering the event, while specialized media outlets dedicated to poker emerged to provide real-time updates on the action. The internet underwent advancements, offering fans multiple avenues to stay connected with the ongoing events. Eventually, the poker community became increasingly impatient with the delayed television broadcasts and sought more immediate access to the proceedings. By 2007, the majority of poker players were already aware of Jerry Yang's triumph as the champion of the WSOP main event long before the televised coverage aired in autumn. Concurrently, the initial hints of uncertainty surrounding online poker arose due to the enactment of the UIGEA, which further contributed to the inevitable decline in television ratings. To address the declining television rating, Harrah's Entertainment devised a unique and somewhat controversial concept for the 2008 WSOP main event, the November 9. While the main event followed its regular format, when the player count dwindled from 10 to 9, the action would pause on July 14 and remain on hold for 117 days. During this interval, the episodes would be produced and broadcasted, allowing fans to witness the progression of the tournament. Then, on 9th of November, the final table competitors would reconvene, resuming play and battling it out until only 2 players remained. The following evening, the final 2 players would engage in heads-up match to determine the recipient of the highly sought-after poker bracelet. Subsequently, production crews tirelessly labored overnight to prepare the show for broadcasting within a mere 1-day turnaround, ultimately airing on November 11th. The concept of November 9 was conceived by Ty Stewart, the executive director of the WSOP. Stewart envisioned a scenario where the poker community would be left pondering who will emerge as the victor, instead of already knowing the outcome. The intention was to generate excitement and anticipation during the hiatus, potentially creating 9 fresh poker personalities who could engage in interviews and make public appearances over the 4-month period. Additionally, this extended break allowed players the opportunity to secure sponsorship deals with both poker-related and non-poker companies along the way. The introduction of the November 9 concept elicited a mixed response initially, with some expressing concerns about its potential impact on the integrity of the game, while others believed it could enhance interest in poker. Despite the divergent opinions, the plan was implemented. The 2008 WSOP main event commenced on Thursday, July 3rd, attracting a field of 6,844 players, all united by a common goal: to secure a spot at the final table. The immense pressure to make the inaugural November 9 was so intense that some players admitted they did not play optimally due to the stress. Dennis Phillips recalled that it had been a very, very intense experience and that the dynamics of the game were drastically altered by the introduction of the November 9. Despite being fully aware of the planned delay, the majority of the November 9 expressed their disappointment at having to pause the tournament, particularly eventual champion Peter Eastgate. Peter shared his feelings of frustration regarding the prolonged waiting period. He mentioned that waiting for the final result was aggravating, as it would have had a significant impact on one's life. However, there were few players who welcomed the break, and one of them was Ivan Demidov, the runner-up finisher. Ivan recalled how exhaustion had taken hold of the finalists when they reached the final table. Playing relentlessly for almost 10 consecutive days without any respite had left them completely worn out, and the need for a break was undeniable. During the 117-day break, players faced a unique challenge regarding how to approach their strategy preparations, as no one had ever encountered such a situation before. Chino Reem, who finished in 7th place, had the advantage of being able to discuss hands and strategies with his close friend and fellow poker pro Michael Mizrachi and Nam Lee. Elon Schwartz, who secured 4th place, also had the opportunity to engage in similar discussions with his backer Cliff Josephy. Additionally, Darus Suharto, who finished in 6th place, opted to simulate scenarios and strategize with poker professional Eric Lynch. Several players certainly observed that their opponents had made adjustments and altered their playing style during the break in the gameplay. After a prolonged anticipation, the players were completely prepared to continue the game. A new twist in the implementation of the November 9 was the relocation of the event to the Penn and Teller Theater at the Rio, allowing for a significantly larger audience. With such a huge capacity inside of the theater, each player also had the chance to bring along a cheering section. Eastgate and Demidov managed to outlast the remaining 7 players and advance to the second night of the play for their one-on-one showdown. In the end, Peter Eastgate emerged victorious over Demidov, securing the title and a prize of $9.2 million. Ultimately, the November 9 concept achieved its intended goal, as the television ratings on ESPN saw a remarkable surge of nearly 50% compared to the previous year. This trend continued in 2009 with an additional 16% increase, resulting in an impressive overall viewership growth of 69% from 2007 to 2009. Despite the demanding timeline it imposed on the production team, the substantial surge in the television ratings made all the exhaustive efforts worthwhile. The introduction of the November 9 marked a significant milestone in the quest for more timely poker coverage and revolutionized the perception of television poker in the present day. With the advancement of technology and the influence of social media in fueling the demand for live content, ESPN eventually started broadcasting same-day coverage with a 30-minute delay in 2011. This change brought about a considerable transformation during the latter half of the November 9 era, creating a dynamic in which players could learn about their opponent's cards in crucial hands shortly after they were played. Nevertheless, the November 9 also faced criticism, as some critics pointed out certain drawbacks or negative aspects associated with the concept. One notable criticism of the November 9 was that it hindered the momentum between the initial 7 days of the WSOP main event and the final table. The final table appeared to be disconnected from the rest of the tournament, almost resembling 2 separate events. Since the players had already secured substantial payouts and had the potential to win even more, most of the November 9ers hired top-notch coaches and meticulously studied footage of their opponents. Consequently, the final table showcased an exceptionally high level of poker with minimal mistakes or unconventional plays. No one was fatigued or prone to tilt, as each participant approached the final table with a clear and focused mindset. However, this posed a significant disadvantage for the skilled players, particularly those who had received extensive television exposure that their opponents could analyze. Additionally, any amateur player who had made a deep run had the opportunity to bridge the skill gap during the hiatus and address weaknesses in their game. While non-stop high-level play may appeal to a small percentage of dedicated poker enthusiasts, most viewers are drawn to players like Queen Nguyen and Jamie Gold, characterized by their aggressive style, unconventional bet sizes, and daring bluffs. Such excitement is more likely when players are mentally strained after an intense 10-day poker marathon leading up to the final table, where the weight of the situation and the potential prize money hasn't fully sunk in. With the absence of online poker in the US since mid-2011, a major catalyst for sponsorship of the November 9 lost its momentum. Consequently, in 2017, Caesars and ESPN made the decision to completely abandon the concept of the November 9. That year, Poker Central made an announcement regarding a television and digital media rights agreement with the WSOP and ESPN. As a result, the final table was reintegrated into the later stages of the tournament, aligning with the rest of the event. As one would expect from such news, the biggest names in the game had plenty of thoughts regarding this announcement, including the likes of Poker Hall of Famers like Mike Sexton, Phil Hellmuth, and Daniel Negreanu. In retrospect, the November 9 will forever hold a significant place in the annals of poker history. The initial 9 players who participated in the 2008 WSOP main event created a truly extraordinary and memorable moment. Each of them shares a unique bond with one another, forming a special connection that will endure over time.